Well, that's what's in store in the near future here on Showtime. Let's bring you back to the present as we come tonight from the beautiful Regent Hotel in the serene suburbs of Las Vegas, away from the maddening crowd of the Las Vegas Strip. Our venue this evening, the Grand Ballroom, it's packed here at the Regent. And coming up next, coming up rather briskly, our main event. It's top-rated knockout specialist David Tua taking on former cruiserweight champion Robert Daniels in a heavyweight bout scheduled for 12 with emphasis on the word scheduled. Well, I tell you, it seems the closer David Tua gets to a title shot, the more quotable he becomes. Example, he recently likened the other heavyweight contenders to sheep following each other around, saying the one thing they have in common is they don't want to fight him. Tua said, "Trust me, I'm a country boy from New Zealand, and I know about sheep. We raise New Zealand lamb for the world." Here's more Tua on Tua.
I taste blood. I taste fear. And really, there's no hold back. You know, once I get the guy hurt, I have to get him out of there. You know, once I can taste and I can feel that, there's no holding back. Well, I truly believe, me personally, something that I'm born with, something that I'm blessed with. I believe it's a God-given talent, you know, that I have. And, you know, I'm very fortunate to have it.
His sheer power and aggressive attitude have made David Tua a formidable force in the heavyweight division. The Ring magazine has proclaimed him the biggest puncher in the division, and his peers and maybe future opponents believe he's the best of the young heavyweights.
I like him as a fighter. He's a young guy. He's a tough guy, not afraid. But more than that, he could take some punishment, and that's what I respect more than me. I mean, anybody can kick ass. What do you do when you get your ass kicked? I wish I was the trainer and stuff. Wish it was my crew.
Good fighter. Good fighter. Been there for a while, and one of the fighters that people are ducking because he's a force.
Ranked #1 by both the IBF and the WBC, Tua is tentatively scheduled to meet Lennox Lewis to fight for a world title this fall.
In the eyes of the public, in the eyes of the world, the fans, he's the man, and he's got to fight the top contender. He's got to fight me. So the way I look at it, I'll fight Lennox for the bouts, without the bouts, 2 rounds, 1 round, 10 rounds, any place, anytime. You know, all I need is the opportunity, is a chance.
But before he can meet Lewis, he must get by tonight's opponent, Robert Daniels.
This is a title fight. You know, this is the way I approach this fight. This is the way I look at this fight. It's the title fight for me. Because whoever they put in front of me, regardless of who it is, I go out with the same respect and with the same focus and the same hunger as well. So this is a title fight for me.
David Tua not sheepish with his words and commanding respect from his peers. Tua's opponent, Robert Daniels, once fought our own Bobby Ches, as we mentioned earlier. That was around 9 years ago, as Bobby won a decision to capture the WBA Cruiserweight Championship back here with the former world champion, Bobby Ches. What were Daniels' faults that you were able to capitalize on, and what advice, not that he needs it, would you give to Tua?
Well, as I was watching the tape of Daniels, part of my keys to victory were establishing the jab and speed. Daniels is a little slow and is very defensive. He couldn't get past my jab. He couldn't cut me off. Now, I was a light heavy moving up to cruiser, so I wasn't quite as strong as him, but I used my jab and my speed to offset his strength, and I took his championship. For Tua, it's a different thing. Tua not only matches, he probably betters his speed. The power is not even comparable. I think all Tua really has to do, Steve, is go forward, punch until Daniels folds.
Yeah, and we saw what happened in Tua's last fight. He knocked out journeyman Obed Sullivan in just 51 seconds. Are you looking for a similar result here tonight?
You know, Steve, I'm not sure that 51 seconds is how quickly this fight will end. I think that Daniels, who is very defensive, may be hard to hit early. He'll bob, he'll weave, he'll cover. He's a shorter, smaller target, so it's going to be tough to get the clean shots real early, but he just doesn't possess that much power to get Tua off him. Once Tua gets rolling, it's a steamroller.
Yeah, which leads us to your keys to victory for Tua versus Daniels.
Well, David Tua, he has got such power. Keep the pressure on, keep unloading those bombs. Also, strong body work. He'll break you in half, and that big left hook is amazing. Here, Darrell Wilson's trying to keep him off, but Tua's hands are always up. Pretty good defense. Wilson tries the jab and the right hand, which Tua blocks. He comes in, he moves his head like Mike Tyson. Very tough to hit cleanly. Now watch him set his feet. He bends, he gets the leverage. There's the knees going down, and this left hook will come right over the dropping hand of Wilson, and it is literally one punch knockout power for Tua. Flip side of that coin, Robert Daniels. Well, Daniels has got to do a lot of different things. Establish a good strong jab if he's going to keep Tua off, stuff it in his face, and also tight defense and counter punch, and also good side-to-side movement. If he doesn't use that movement, he's going to be in trouble. Here his hands are up high, and Lawrence Claybay is going to whip a hook that misses, and watch the immediate counter by Daniels, who possesses a little bit of power of his own. He gets Claybay, a legitimate heavyweight, in some trouble, and he chases him. Now again, speed's a little bit of a factor. Daniels, because he's actually a half inch shorter, he cannot be that far away from Tua. Tua will reach out and eventually hit him. If he gets Tua in trouble, he has to stay inside the eye of the storm. Get on the inside, uppercuts and hooks on the inside. Here he's finishing off Claybay, but what he needs to do with Tua, if he ever gets in trouble, is stay on top of him much better. Here it worked.
All right, Bobby Ches, let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. to bring on Robert Daniels.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to welcome the boxers as they make their way to the ring for this, the main event of the evening. First, please welcome tonight's challenger and former Cruiserweight World Champion, Robert Daniels.
Robert Preacher Man Daniels, who has never been knocked down or out, turned pro at 15, was already 8-1 before he reached the legal age of 18, a solid cruiserweight career, but he couldn't make much money there, so he moved up, beat White Muhammad Kawi to win the WBA cruiserweight belt. After 2 successful defenses, he lost the belt to our own Bobby Ches via decision March 8, 1991 in Atlantic City. He's fought in relative anonymity since in the last 8 years. 18-2-1 with 1 no contest. And his last fight in January, a 15-fight win streak, ended with a decision loss to undefeated Lawrence Claybay. Bobby, in all due respect to you, Daniels has probably never been in there with anyone who can hit as hard as Tua. Aside from dealing with Tua's dangerous left, inactivity could be a factor, not only out of the ring, but inactivity in the ring.
Well, you know what? One of the things I was talking about, he's too defensive-minded, not offensive-minded enough. And against a guy like Tua, if you don't put some hurt on him and get some respect, you have no chance of winning. I think that David Tua brings so much to the table that Daniels will be lucky to survive a short distance.
Could be a tough night ahead for Robert Daniels, and let's send it back to Jimmy Lennon Jr. right now to bring on Mr. Tua.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring, here is the defending champion, introducing David Tua.
Some theatrics before Tua makes his entrance. The traditional Samoan drums and horn. The blowing of the horn indicates a warning of danger for Tua's opponent. And the traditional Samoan drums, a form of communication among Samoan people used in times of peace and war. Tonight, they signify the war that is to come. And here is the warrior. #1 ranked David Tua. He of the lethal left hook and growing popularity. Exceptional power combined with a good chin. It took 3 left hands to send Obed Sullivan crumbling to the canvas a mere 49 days ago in the first. He feels he's ready for Lennox Lewis now. It could happen in November. But most feel that he is a bona fide legit contender for the heavyweight throne. Tua says he prepares the same way for every opponent. But do you find it at all a bit curious? I don't know, Tony Page raised the issue with the Tua earlier, but here in his final tune-up before a mandatory with a big guy like Lennox Lewis, that Tua is fighting someone close to his own size?
You know what? Last fight he had, a guy 6'3", 6'3.5", with a good jab over at Sullivan. Fight didn't go a minute. I don't think it's real relevant. When it's time to train for Lennox Lewis, he will have the big sparring partners, the men with the long reach and the tall height. Right now what he's doing, he's staying what I call in the zone. Staying focused, staying sharp, being active, being productive. I don't think this particular fight's going to matter one bit.
All right, let's size him up as we check out the tail of the tape. Tua 4 years younger, big contrast in height from the first fight. Tua and Daniels even at 5'10". Daniels with the 4 inches in reach. At Wednesday's weigh-in, Tua down almost 10 pounds from his career high last fight. Still outweighed Daniels by about 24 pounds. And the key rules for these marginal titles: no standing 8, no 3 knockdown. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt occurs before the end of the 4th, it's a no contest. After the end of the 4th, we go to the cards. So here at the Grand Ballroom at the Regent in Las Vegas, getting set for our main event, David Tua versus Robert Daniels. The official introductions from our ring announcer, the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the beautiful Regent Las Vegas for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by America Presents and Showtime Championship Boxing, along with Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the International Boxing Federation, the President Hiawatha Knight, Supervisor Dr. Jack Battaglia, along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Dr. Elias Ghanem, commissioners Amy Ayub, Glenn Carano, Lorenzo Fertitta, and Dr. Luther Mack, with the executive director Mark Ratner. Introducing to you our 3 judges, all from Las Vegas, Nevada: Carol Castellano, Dwayne Ford, and Bill Graham. And the referee in charge of this bout, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Joe Cortez. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Intercontinental and USBA Heavyweight Championships. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from the Regent Las Vegas, it's showtime! Introducing to you first, ladies and gentlemen, the challenger on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, entering the ring wearing purple trunks with yellow trim, hailing from Miami, Florida. He weighed in at 219 pounds. With a record of 39 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, and 1 no contest, he has 32 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former WBA Cruiserweight Champion of the world, introducing Robert Preacher Man Daniels. And his opponent across the ring is the defending champion on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with white trim, fighting out of it, representing South Auckland, New Zealand. He weighed in at 243.5 pounds. His record stands at 36 wins, 1 loss, with 31 big wins coming by way of knockout. Currently ranked the #1 heavyweight contender in the world by both the IBF and the WBC. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the hard-hitting IBF Intercontinental and USBA heavyweight champion. He is known as the Tua Man, introducing David Tua. Once again, a referee in charge, Joe Cortez, now to give instructions. 12 rounds of championship boxing schedule.
All right, gentlemen, this fight is for the Intercontinental IBF heavyweight title and the USBA championship. I expect a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all time. Remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm, understand? Touch them up.
Well, we'll see if the Samoan comes out throwing like he usually does. 14 first-round KOs. While the opposition might be questionable, Tua calls this the most important fight of his career. It's the last assignment before the fight for the world titles with Lennox Lewis. Daniels not overly fast, can be lazy, can be outquick, which could be a major problem versus a guy like Tua. With Tua, all it takes sometimes is one punch. But just for the record, Daniels never down.
I talked to Robert Daniels briefly last night. He said, listen, I know I can't punch with this guy. I got to make him miss, and I got to counter, and I got to move, and I got to make him miss, get him tired, take him into later rounds. But I just don't know that he has anything to keep Tua off him. Those punches, if you're going to absorb them all day, they're going to be painful.
Tua goes right at him, going upstairs and to the body. Look at the power behind these punches, and Daniels is down, seconds in.
4, 5, 6.
See, if you watch there, Daniels never offered up one piece of offense. Didn't fire an uppercut, didn't fire a hook, didn't give Tua anything to worry about. Coming back.
Around the 38-second mark of the first round, Daniels
Get him out.
took a knee.
All right, break up.
Tua comes out like he always comes out, swarming.
Daniels needs to use more foot movement and step around, jab, and fire. He can't just stand with his back on ropes. Tua will maul him.
He said he's got to move to his left, use the jab angles, don't get caught on the ropes, but a rugged start for Daniels. Look at those tree stumps for legs for David Tua. Tua again, wailing away with uppercuts, the forgotten punch. Going to the body.
Daniels isn't making him worry. Tua can just punch when he wants to punch, not punch when he doesn't feel like it. Daniels not making him pay for anything.
Daniels, a human punching bag, not showing any movement, standing right in front of Tua and getting benched.
Keep up, my man.
We approach the final minute of round one. Can Daniels make it out of the first round?
Come on, keep it buckled up, man.
Almost everything Tua throws, landing with authority. There's that left uppercut that gets through the defense. A little left hook there by Daniels finally.
Tua almost looks like he's taking his time now and just having a gym workout. Daniels isn't making him pay for anything. He needs to put some power behind a couple of shots and see not only what does Tua have in his chin, although I'm pretty sure he's got the stuff. When I saw him like Ibeabuchi, not only was I impressed with the way Ibeabuchi looked, but it was because of that fight. I know how good Tua is, that I know just how good Ibeabuchi is.
Oh, cut. Come on, keep him up, man. Keep him up. Keep him up.
A little cautioning from Joe Cortez to David Tua to keep the punches up. As we head for the bell, Daniels survives the opening round, but he did go down early.
How you feel? How you feel, baby? All right, listen. I don't like you put it in the rope. You need to move and work it hard in your body. What you waiting? What you waiting for? With this guy? Work it hard in your body. I'm going for the middle. Come on, my man. Thank you. Come in.
Very powerful David Tua goes right to Daniels, who puts his back to the ropes and doesn't really offer up any offense to make Tua worry about it. And Tua just starts working. Right hands around, left uppercuts, and he catches one good body shot right here.
Hey, my
and
man,
Tua puts him on the camera.
Pretty safe to say Mr. Daniels has never felt this kind of wrath or power before.
And Daniels looked right to his corner. I watched him look, his eyes looked okay. He nodded, he was clear, but he has a world of fight in front of him.
Cuban Carlos Bernie in the corner of Daniels, exhorting him on, but might be futile. Round two, it's scheduled for 12. Daniels down 38 seconds of the first round. Off of a barrage. Right to it. This is like a workout for Tua.
You know, and again, Daniels, I know I'm saying it over and over, but Daniels isn't stuffing anything hard. He isn't making him pay. He's got to stuff that jab and fire right hand. See if he can hurt Tua.
Tua just out-strengthening, overpowering Daniels.
Now watch your heads inside, guys. Watch your heads. Keep the punches up.
Well, at least we got out of the first round of a fight.
There, Daniels threw an overhand right with a little mustard on it. He needs to do more of that. Take a shot. Put himself in a position to get some damage done of his own.
To his manager, Kevin Barry, said they're pretty close to a signed deal with Lennox Lewis. They'll work out the final details starting August 1st. Oh, big right uppercut to the jaw by Tua. Another one.
Tua hurt him with that right uppercut.
Daniels down once again for the second time in 2 rounds.
4, 5,
Gets up quickly.
6.
You see in his eyes, they glazed over a little bit. That right uppercut really caught him well.
Cortez asking Daniels how you feeling. Just a quick nod of approval by Daniels, but he can't be feeling too good.
Tua not showing that he's in any hurry, taking his time, waiting in behind a light jab, not really pressing the issue.
Yeah, this is a lot more patient than we've seen him.
It's a lot more patient than I'd be, I'll tell you right now.
Again, those spiraling right uppercuts are getting into the chin of Daniels. He said he was working on those uppercuts in training.
There, Daniels did come off the ropes with a nice left hook, didn't land, but he needs to do more of that.
Tua fought 65 rounds in the last 5 weeks in preparation. Tua with a big support group from his native Samoa. Pounding shots to the head by Tua with the left hand.
Double left uppercut by Tua, very powerful. You can watch him bend his knees and dig and turn in with that 240+ pounds.
Daniels trying to answer back, but again to no avail. Tua just smiles at him. Final seconds of the second round. Daniels has been down twice in the first 2.
Some water. Let's go with a barrage of punches on this guy now, okay? Not just one. You can't just give me one shot to him. Now look, you're hurting him with the uppercut now. What happened to my double on this side?
You're hitting too much on the hip now. Watch it again.
Look, what happened to my double? Boom, the body first and then the uppercut. Then finish off with the hook in the right hand. Body.
Tua working him on the ropes. There's a nice left uppercut. He stuffs in there, and there's the right uppercut. That caught Daniels. That hurt him, and he gets hit with another one. There's the second one. That one really, you could see it stood him up and really took his legs out from under him. And I saw in his eyes, because he's not far from us, Steve, he was hurt.
Former fighter Ronnie Shields in the face of David Tua. Last time he went more than 2 rounds, December of '98 against Hasim Rahman. TKO round 10 in Miami. Tua's last 3 fights were 1, 2, and 1 round.
You know, it almost seems that as when Tua turns it on, he hurts Daniels, gets him in trouble. Then he turns it back off, almost as if he wants a little more work or take his time. That I don't particularly understand. Ronnie Shields in the corner said, listen, not only 1 punch at a time, work him up, work the uppercut, double, triple, and land the last one, load up with the last one, or throw 2 or 3.
Muscular, strong David Tua pours it on. Daniels down for a 3rd time in 3 rounds.
Big left uppercut. He hurt Daniels. Daniels turned, and he was leaving himself extremely wide open to get really hurt.
He doesn't want to continue, and Joe Cortez has stopped it here in the early going of round 3. Tua wins again.
And Power just some more drop back to Steve. Power just too big.
Well, 25 of his 32 knockouts now in 3 rounds or less for David Tua. They keep lining them up, and Tua keeps knocking them down. His latest casualty, Robert Daniels, went down 3 times inside 3 rounds. Not exactly what you could label as stiff competition, with Daniels coming in off a long stretch of inactivity. His previous fight, a defeat, clearly not in the same class strength-wise as David Tua. Not many are. As Tua drums up another victory. continues to make it abundantly clear Lennox Lewis is in his direct sights. David Tua goes to 37-1 with 32 KOs, makes it 10-0 with 9 knockouts since his only defeat to Ika Beabuchi in 1997. And he maintains his #1 ranking, and for what it's worth, remains the IBF Intercontinental and USBA heavyweight champion.
Tua gets that left uppercut inside. You watch him, he bends there. He throws his punches so powerfully. There's he bends and digs up. Hurts Daniels with a double left uppercut. And Daniels turns here, and really, he could have gotten hurt pretty bad. He didn't quite get to the knee, and Tua was getting ready to wind up, and you saw the referee say, you know what, get out of here.
And you could see Daniels had had enough.
There, you see the bend? He bends, he gets that leverage, and he drives with all 240 pounds up. Terrific puncher, and very accurate.
Daniels falls to 39-5-1 with 1 no contest and 2 straight defeats. Let's get the official word from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time, 47 seconds in round number 3. Our referee in charge, Joe Cortez, reaches the count of 10. He's the winner by way of knockout and still champion, the Tua man, David Tua.
The tranquil, soft-spoken, but very businesslike David Tua adds another W. A show of sportsmanship with the embrace to Robert Daniels, shaking everybody's hands. He really is a refreshing personality in the sport of boxing, don't you think?
You know, he's a nice, sincere, humble man that works hard, believes in himself, and in the ring, he is nothing short of a vicious killer.
Tremendous power exhibited by the Samoan, David Tua, as he poses for pictures now in the ring. And let's get it up to Tony Page, all set.
Thanks very much. I'm here with David Tua. You said in the fighter meetings you were going to work on some right uppercuts. You threw some great power shots. Was that the whole idea?
Yeah, well, first of all, I thank God for this great victory. Well, I knew he was going to come out trying to box and trying to stay alive. I mean, he's a veteran, a former world cruiserweight champion, and the best thing I can do is just to go out there and display why David Tua is the #1 heavyweight contender in the world. Robert Daniels told us in the fighter meetings he was not going to stay against the ropes, but you kind of tracked him down and left him there, and you had him all to yourself. Well, that was the game plan. I mean, regardless of whatever he was trying to bring to the table, I was well prepared in the gym. I mean, I had guys staying on the ropes. I had guys running for me. And it was only a matter of time. I mean, tonight I came out and display. And it's only a matter of time. Lennox, let's get it on. Let's get it on, baby. There's no excuses now. Before we get to that, let's take a look at what happened tonight in the fight. You had him against the ropes. Here's the first knockdown. Here you are. You're pounding away. He's against the ropes. Can't get away. You got him right there. Well, I knew that, you know, I've watched the tape. I mean, one round of one of his fight when he fought Kleber, and when Kleber had him on the back foot, you know, he just went defensive. So the best thing for me to do is to keep throwing that overhand right and come under with the left side uppercut or the right uppercut. Here's your second knockdown. That uppercut, that's what you talked about. It's right there. It's right there. I mean, you can't miss it. I mean, he had the guys on the rope, and what's the next thing that comes to him is the only thing he can do is defend himself. Here's the final knockdown. You're still swarming all over him. You're not giving him any chance to get out of there. Nice uppercut again. Yeah, well, what can they say? A throwing Samoan. Yeah, baby. Is there any heavyweight in the world that can stand up to your power? Bring it. All I gotta say is bring it. Whoever, bring it. You know, you might get tricky, you might get cute for the first couple of rounds, but once the two-man catch up, it's lights out. Do you think Lennox Lewis is going to fight you? You got all the preliminaries out of the way now. Do you think he wants the Tua-man? Man, he took care of his business. He looked great, and I took care of mine. And come November, there'll be no excuses whatsoever. Any network will stop me from fighting Lennox Lewis and fulfilling my dream. Come November, the only thing that you hear at the end of the fight, no! Right here, baby. Now, I know Lennox Lewis is listening. You got something to say to him in Samoan. Lennox, lasso na mai le tua. Tatu tau ia la tu mai le tua chau malos.
Now, brother, my Samoan's a tad rusty, so what you say?
I love you, man.
Let's send it down the ringside. And Steve Albert, I love you too.
All right, thank you very much, Tony Page. We'll check the online scoring results from the main event. And was there really any doubt? David Tua ahead 3-0 over Robert Daniels. Absolutely no match for David Tua. The only question was how long this particular fight would go. Does Tua have what it takes, in your estimation, based on what we've seen, to beat a Lennox Lewis?
Well, based on what we've seen tonight, you can't really gauge Daniels, a cruiserweight moving up, and even at that, has not really faced or conquered any major heavyweights. But David Tua has the skills, he has power, he has durability, and I know I constantly talk about that fight with Ike Ibeabuchi, but if people had seen that fight, had watched what was displayed by both fighters, durability, power, speed, endurance, it was an incredible fight.
But along those lines, it is somewhat difficult to really assess just how good Tua is. We obviously know he can hit, and hit hard. But how good is he based on this recent questionable opposition?
Well, we can't really base him on that. We need to base him on fights like John Ruiz. Now, Ruiz, #1 contender, a good quality fighter. Again, I was very, very impressed with the speed and accuracy of Tua. Right there, didn't miss. Everything landed cleanly, and it was like one punch, lights out.
Now, if you're Lennox Lewis, what's going through your mind as you look at David Tua in action and doing his thing?
Lennox Lewis is a confident and very competent world champion. He's got great height, reach, skills, power, 240+ pounds himself. No small man, great right hand. We saw what he just did to both of them. But he doesn't have the durability factor, and I think that's going to be big. If he can neutralize Tua and keep him on the outside, that's one thing. I want to see what happens when they get inside. If he doesn't tie him up and he gets hit, does he stay up?
And of course, there's also the prospect of Tua versus Tyson down the road. A possibility, you never know.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a fair train wreck involved in that fight, too. That's two men that can really punch, have great power, both hands, either hand, both fighters. And you know what? Mike's a little lighter, maybe a shade quicker, but boy, I'll tell you, that is excitement right there.
All right, on that note, let's take a final look at the results from tonight's doubleheader.